Hello. So we are back for DanPlays, and we are back for more Final Fantasy VI. Now, if you watched the last part of my Final Fantasy VI playthrough, you know what you're probably thinking. We beat the game, didn't we? We're done. That's it. Good day, sir. Well, actually, no, because I have come into possession of this. This is the Super Famicom cartridge for Final Fantasy VI, the original Japanese version. So I thought it would be an interesting experiment to certainly not do a full playthrough. This is not going to be a multi-part thing by any means. But just to play a little bit of it, see it in the purest original form possible. Play that firsthand, which I never have. I've never played the Japanese version, untranslated or anything. So I thought this would be interesting. Now, there are two things that I had to get around for this. Two kind of issues, I should say. One I was able to get around, one I really am not. The first issue is I don't have a Super Famicom console. So what I did, there's two tabs on the inside the cartridge slot on the American Super Nintendo cartridge, which block Super Famicom cartridges from fitting into them. Can't really see in my little box here, but there's two little slots on the American cartridges that those pegs slide into, and those slots are not present on the Japanese cartridges. So you have to figure out a way to get around those pegs. You can just clip them out of the console. I don't have any other Super Famicom cartridges currently. I'm something I might, look into starting to collect a bit, because I do actually have a lot of regular Famicom cartridges for my NES, and I have an adapter. But yeah, I have like 75, 80, something like that, original Famicom cartridges. This is my first Super Famicom cartridge. But yeah, if you can get around those pegs, either by removing them or finding some other means, you can play Japanese cartridges on your American system. It's not like the Famicom versus NES, where the cartridges are a different format and you need an adapter or anything. So, again, maybe someday if I do collect more Super Famicom games, I might, modify. I have two Super Nintendo consoles, so I might modify one of them and clip the pegs out. What I did this time, I just dismantled this cartridge, so what I'm holding here is just the empty shell, and I have the bare circuit board plugged into the Super Nintendo. And it works. It's not ideal, but it works for, just our purposes here. The other issue I can't get around so well, and that's just the simple fact that I can't read a word of Japanese. So, this is, I am assuming, probably largely in Japanese. Certainly there are games that were released even only in Japan. I have Famicom games that never came out anywhere but in Japan that are 100% in English. So English is used a fair amount in that country. But a game like Final Fantasy VI, I'm assuming it's almost entirely in Japanese. So we'll see how far we can get. Again, this is just kind of for fun, an experiment, just kind of see how far I can get using what I know of the game and maybe some context clues and things like that to fill in the gaps. But as familiar as I am with it, I should be able to get fairly decently far. So we'll play, I don't know, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. Just experience a little bit of the most original form possible of my favorite game of all time. So, we'll power on and get to it. There we go. So, no splash screen. That's the first thing I noticed. The American version has the Final Fantasy III logo pop up at the beginning, and there's no splash screen at all in the Japanese version. But otherwise, so far, same intro. And of course, here we have the Final Fantasy VI logo, rather than 3 come up here. Oh, and you actually get this is actually what popped up behind it, the Terra riding Magitech armor. That part of the logo is the part that I actually have a sticker on my car of. That's how much of a nerd I am for this game. I've never had any kind of gaming bumper stickers or anything like that before, but yeah, I do have a window decal now of Terra on the Magitech armor from the FF6 logo. But yeah, that's cool to see that on the Super Nintendo console. This probably is the version of the intro that's used for the PlayStation version, which I haven't touched in a long time. I'm wondering maybe if you play that on PlayStation 2, maybe you can use the increased disk speed option on that to mitigate some of the load time. So maybe I'll take a look at the PlayStation version again sometime. But yeah, anyway. Alright, more of the intro. And yeah, this is obviously in Japanese. But this is the part that talks about the ancient war of the Magi 1,000 years ago. And could it be that we're about to repeat the same mistakes of the past, that whole bit? Which could certainly never happen in the real world at all, you know? Not gonna comment any further. As you can see, Tabby's joined us. How are you? So actually, I haven't actually started a new game here. Probably at this point. It's actually not letting me skip. Usually, if you're just playing this part of the intro, I think, on the American version, you can push A to skip it, because it'll play again when you start a new game. But yeah, it seems to just be playing the whole thing here. So, forget which one talks first, Wedge and or Biggs. I think I'm actually just gonna reset to get back to the yeah, here we go. So we'll start a new game. I actually haven't looked yet and see what whoever owned this last has. I got this from a US seller, by the way, off of eBay, so I don't know if, you know, this was someone in Japan that had these game files, or if it was whoever, you know, maybe it was a Japanese speaker that I bought it from. You know, here in the US. Whoever it was clearly liked that kind of water effect background for the windows. Looks like they have a fairly new game here. Not too far. This is probably like Phoenix Cave, around there. But we'll start a new game anyway. And yeah, we'll go back to the intro again. What I'm actually kind of reminded of doing this is the Jim Jarmusch movie Mystery Train. Jim Jarmusch, by the way, is one of my favorite directors. I've seen, I think, his entire filmography at least once, all of his movies. Dead Man is actually my favorite movie, not only of his, it's actually my favorite movie, period. If I had to, you know, choose my #1 favorite movie of all time, it would be Dead Man. But of Jarmusch's movies, my second favorite probably is Mystery Train. I mean, it's kind of, I mean, it's hard to say. There's, you know, Down by Law was great. Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai was great. Patterson I really liked. I only saw Patterson once, so I wouldn't rank that yet. But, yeah, Patterson was really good. Only Lovers Left Alive was great. But yeah, anyway, Mystery Train is probably, if I had to pick, my #2 Jim Jarmusch movie. But anyway, the first time I saw Mystery Train, it was on DVD. I rented it from Netflix, but apparently that pressing of the DVD, and it was a known issue because there were people talking about it, I found later on the IMDb message boards, which IMDb still had message boards at the time. But yeah, there was some weird pressing issue with the first version, or at least whatever version of the DVD for Mystery Train I got from Netflix anyway, where the English subtitles were not in the English labeled subtitle option. They were like buried under some other language's option, I think like Chinese or, you know, like Mandarin or something like that. But if you picked that, it would put up the English subtitles, so it was something screwed up anyway. But the beginning of Mystery Train follows two Japanese characters in Memphis, and they're like sightseeing. They go to like Sun Studios and stuff. But because that pressing of the DVD had the mess up with the subtitles, the subtitles that were supposed to be there for those characters didn't show up. So whenever they would talk to each other in Japanese, it was just unsubtitled on this version of the movie I saw, and I thought it was just supposed to be like that, like, they're presented as, like, fish out of water. So I thought it was just supposed to be like that, and it was supposed to, like, portray their separation from the other people around them in Memphis, Tennessee, being, Japanese-only speakers. And it wasn't supposed to be like that. They were supposed to be subtitled, but that's how I saw it the first time. And it was actually really interesting because of how much you could actually figure out, like, just from context clues and intonation and things like that. You could kind of get a good sense of what they were saying, or, at least the gist of what they were conveying to each other, even if you couldn't understand the language. And later, I don't remember what movie it was, but in the bonus features of another Jarmusch movie, there was like an interview with him where he was actually talking about how he likes to watch foreign movies with the subtitles turned off, just to like kind of immerse himself as much as possible and see how much of he can get out of like body language and intonation and context clues and all of that. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that, there's another interview where he's talking about doing that kind of thing, because, like, by accident, because of this manufacturing screw-up with one of his movies, Mystery Train, that was actually how I first experienced one of his films. So, yeah, again, this kind of reminds me of that. And incidentally, I did notice on the opening credits there, I did notice that they were in English, interestingly. Yeah. Alright, so no sense taking any risks. Let's put her on point. So yeah, Terra's still question marked. Yeah, it's not letting us equip anything. I'm guessing this is equip, probably optimum, remove, empty, I'm guessing. Legend Biggs there. We must defend the mines. That might be a later guy that says that. Alright, so this should be Heal Force. This should be the bottom one, so I think it's Fire, Bolt, and Ice, or maybe it's Ice and... we'll do this one, figure out which one is Ice, and then we can figure out which one is Bolt, right? Terra has all of her options. Okay, so Bolt's on the right. I think this is Tech Laser. Or, Tech Missile, rather. Oh no, that's the X for the X-Zone equivalent. That didn't work. Uh, 96 skill, I think. Yeah. I got that much. Let's see if we can figure out which one is the Tech Missile. I don't remember the exact layout of, there it is. Yeah, I couldn't remember which option was where on Terra's list. Experience, I think. I think I did see the number in the back there. And that's options. leveled up. And I guess I probably should be calling her Tina in this version, right? Because that is her actual name in the Japanese version, is Tina Branford. Sabin is Mash, I know that. I think most of the other characters are more or less the same names in both versions, but yeah, Sabin is Mash. Locke is still Locke, but I think he doesn't have an E on his name in the Japanese version. Terra is Tina. I think Edgar's still Edgar. Strago might be Stragus, and probably still would have been, except that didn't fit in the 6-letter limit they put in the American version. Well, it might actually still be 6 characters in this version. Actually, is this where they say they're going to put her on point? Or maybe not. This might just be talking about that they think the Esper's in the mines. See, I mainly got the Japanese version. I just kind of, I wanted it just to have it, basically. Just to have as many of the different physical versions of the game as I could. And I think the only ones I don't have at this point are, there was a PlayStation single disc, like Final Fantasy VI only version that was released in Japan, and I think in England, or in the UK and in France. Because the version we got in the US, of course, was Final Fantasy Anthology, which also had Final Fantasy V. Actually, the first American release of Final Fantasy V. So we'll save here. We'll save over this game since it's not too far along. So yeah, I don't have, obviously, the European or Japanese disc-only versions, single-disc versions of Final Fantasy VI for PlayStation 1. I do have the American Anthology. I don't have the SNES Mini, which is on that, so I guess that kind of counts as a physical version. And I think that's it. I have the Japanese, I have Super Famicom, I have US SNES, I have the Final Fantasy Anthology, I have the Game Boy Advance version, and I have the, well, I guess the other console releases of Pixel Remaster would be the others I don't have. Because I do have the Switch version. In fact, I just beat, the other Final Fantasy III, the real Final Fantasy III. I actually just beat on that for the first time ever last night. So yeah, that's the other ones I don't have. I have the Pixel Remaster collection on Switch, but I don't have it on Xbox or PlayStation 5, obviously, because I don't have those systems. But yeah, I think I have every other physical version that's been released of this game at this point. And, I kind of wanted it as a showpiece. It would be nice to get the box for the Japanese version, and I'll look into doing that. Because the box art, which you can see right down below me here, is great. I mean, I used it as the sort of teaser image for the whole playthrough series. But yeah, the box would be a cool display piece for my game room, along with the cartridge, so I'll look into getting that. It might not be too expensive either, because honestly, the Japanese cartridge I bought, and it was from a US seller, so that did cut down on shipping, but this was $15. The American cartridge doesn't go for that cheap. And the American cartridge has come down in value a little bit since there have been, like, the Pixel Remaster, and there's been so many reissues. But even so, it's probably like $50, $60 at least that you'd pay for the American cartridge, and again, only $15 for the Japanese one. So maybe the box is not as expensive as I think, either. But I'll look into that. So anyway, we're fighting the Whelk. This monster eats lightning and stores it in its shell. Don't attack crack the shell, got it. That's what Welk is saying there. Hey, Adrian. Tabby left. But, yeah, Adrian, you can come up. I haven't seen much of you today. Rue again. On camera? Oh, you're turned the wrong way. You have to go to the doctor tomorrow, don't you? There she is. There's Miss Adrian. Mwah. Yeah, they both have to go to the vet tomorrow, so that'll be fun. Last year, it's just there's nothing wrong with them that I know of. I hope I'm correct on that. But yeah, the two cats, they're both healthy, but they're just going for their annual physical, their annual checkup. But yeah, they did not enjoy going in their carriers last year, so yeah, I'm looking forward to getting it over with. Yeah. Alright, so see the Esper get attacked along the way by a rat, probably, and Repo Man, right? I think that's Repo Man. Not Barry Darso, just Repo Man. So this would be, I guess in this version, the Esper, it's not Tritok, right? It would be Valigarmonda, is that how you pronounce it? I still always think of it as Tritok. Is this an Esper? It's actually funny how much of the dialogue I know I'm not pronouncing, I'm not pronouncing, I'm not directly quoting it necessarily, but what is this light? Wedge, where are you? Voila! Hurt. Wow, and I only just took off your slave crown. Mysterious young woman controlled by the Empire. What did the rest of that say? Well, anyway. So I assume that's Tina there, right? Does it have English characters? Just out of curiosity? I guess not. I thought, there might have been a possibility that it did, because, some Japanese games do that kind of thing. But, yeah, I wonder why it scroll. Well, I guess it is different, isn't it? I was gonna say, I thought it was the same list because of the numbers being on both, but yeah, I guess it is a different list of characters. Yeah, alright, well, we'll leave her. As her default. Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. Nah, that's a different game. Similar. Just do it, though. Over here. Not till we steal your elixir from your clock. Yeah, it's funny, after playing the Pixel Remaster of Final Fantasy III, the actual Final Fantasy III, the one that was originally on NES, or Famicom. But yeah, I'm used to it, because all of the Pixel Remasters, and I think every version of this game after at least the, I don't think they put it in, maybe they did. I'll have to look at the PlayStation version, just because I haven't looked at that one in years and years, just to see what all exactly is there. I don't think they put a run button in that, other than if you equip Sprint Shoes. They did for the GBA version, and they do in the Pixel Remasters. But yeah, the other games, besides Final Fantasy VI, the Pixel Remasters all have a run button too, so I'm used to, pushing B to run. That's not going to work in this version. So anyway, you can head out through the mines, I think is more or less what he's saying there. She's up there. That snippet of music that just played the da-da-da-da, that's very much that kind of leitmotif that Uematsu used a lot in Final Fantasy VII's soundtrack, isn't it? Like, his soundtracks are always, pretty distinctive from one another, but there's a couple of, Uematsu-isms that I guess he does have and do sneak in every once in a while. I put a pre-order on Fantasian, by the way. That comes out, I think, next month, but that's the, what he's announced as his last project as a full-time composer. He did say that he might be open to doing guest shots, one track for a game here or there, so hopefully we haven't heard just completely the last of him, but, yeah. Fantasian's his last, full-time, or his last full project as a composer for games. Incidentally, there's also a funny photo that was taken. I think it was either the same day that he made the announcement that Fantasian is his last, project, and shot the video to make that announcement. Either the same day, or at least maybe he just really likes that shirt, but he's wearing the same shirt anyway, and that video is in this photo, but it's a photo. Apparently he met Kenny Omega at some event, wherever he was when he made that announcement, maybe. I don't know if that was a Comic-Con or something, but Omega was there. I think it was in Japan, but yeah, it's Nobuo Uematsu putting Kenny Omega in the Cobra Twist, which I think is probably I guess he's back now, but that long period where Omega was out with the diverticulitis. I think that was probably the first move he took since going out with that illness. I think that was a sleeping bag I just picked up, if I remember right. Maybe not. That, I think, is the elixir. It says HPMP there. Oh, okay, so I can figure these out, actually. Maybe. This is probably sleeping bag, right? The 3 that's grayed out, because you can only use those at save points. I could go back to the save point and test my theory. See, I don't know what this one is. Maybe an antidote? But this should be the elixir, HP and MP. HP 50 would be a tonic. HP 250 would be a potion. That's her pendant. And this should be a range, which I guess... we'll put the sleeping bag at the bottom of the list at any rate. Yeah, this is probably an elixir. There's probably some translation document you could pick up somewhere online that would actually, you know, tell you what characters correspond to which item. Yeah, okay, so the 3 is the sleeping bag. Alright. Oh, we could check her magic list, too. So she starts with what? I was thinking she started with three spells. I guess it's only 2. Cure and Fire, right? So let's use what I assume to be Fire on these things. Yeah, she does get Antidote, the Antidote spell, pretty soon after the game begins, so... Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I was thinking she started with 3 spells for some reason. Unless that's different between the versions, but I doubt they made that change between this and the American version. I could use that Cure spell on her soon, too. But we're actually almost at the point where we switch to Locke and the Moogles anyway. And there we go. Well, you're purring a lot. I wonder if the mic is picking her up. It's purring like an old rusty motorcycle, aren't you? I'm glad you're happy. My sweet little magic user, Vweeheehee, I think is in this scene. True, she fried 50 of our best Imperial soldiers. I know that was Legend Big say that on the cliff, but I guess this is where we actually see it. That was something I noticed in the Pixel Remaster, that they changed this scene for that version so that the characters are actually swinging both arms up and down for the Imperial salute, which, I mean, I know, I can guess why, you know what it looks like, but still, I mean, it's odd that it took that long to change that, if they were going to change it, because I think it was still the one-handed salute in the GBA version. And that's the version that took out Celeste getting hit, and when she's chained up, when you first meet Celeste, the soldiers hitting her, and they cut out the part where she's being hit in the GBA version, and that change also carried to the Pixel Remaster. And so here's Locke's introduction. Treasure Hunter and Trail-Worn Traveler. Treasure Hunter, and don't you forget it. How goes the thieving and plundering trade? That's what Arvis says, you know, prior to the part where you name him. Are you talking about that Imperial Witch? It's 4:07 p.m. as I'm recording this, and I thought It's probably very soon gonna start getting dark enough that perversely I can open the blind. So when I'm recording during the day, this window's positioned in such a way that it always, it lets in too much light behind me and it kind of blows out my my picture. So I assume this is Kupo. That's the Moogle off screen saying it. Moogles, are you saying you want to help? I think. Kupo. So that's the explanation. Which we'll say, I'm guessing that's no. Skip that. Alright, we're into the multi-party battle here. Make sure to take Mog's equipment off before ending this sequence. Because as you might recall from my other playthrough, if you take Mog's equipment off during this scene, you can use the Mithril Shield for quite a while on somebody, and Edgar will use the Mithril Pike for quite a while as well. How many potions do I have? Only one. That's not ideal. I mean, I actually have one tonic and one potion. That's still not great. If I stole anything, yeah, I get a potion from that. Okay. We'll try to steal from the logo here. Or not. So I keep looking up, but there's a poster of Tengen Tetris kind of over there. And I just noticed it's probably been like this for, I don't know, a year and a half, maybe longer. But I just now noticed that it's slightly crooked. And now I can't not see it. It's funny how that works, right? I'll have to fix that after I'm done recording here. See if we can get another potion here. Yeah, got one. This isn't so far. I mean, I know it's early in the game and it's not, overly complex yet. We don't have espers to worry about or anything, but so far it's not as challenging to get through the language barrier as I thought it might be. Actually, we'll use one on that guy too. What is it? Kupek, Kupop, and Kumama in Locke's party, maybe? I doubt. I actually wonder what their Japanese names were, the Moogles. I think Mog is still Mog, but yeah, well, and I guess we know one is Malulu. Because it's Malulu's charm. But, yeah, I don't know what the other Moogles' Japanese names are. My thought is to maybe get as far as getting Sabin, and then we'll call it for this video. And I'm not going to do this as a multi-part thing or anything. This is just, just a fun little experiment, basically. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe we'll get as far as getting Sabin. So going through Mount Colt, and then we'll call it. So I think that's equipped, so we want to remove Mog's stuff. And I'll actually probably hang on to that Mithril Shield and give it to Terra when we have her under our control again. Helpfully, you still have the little equipment type icons here, which actually I'm just noticing, or I hadn't thought about it yet, but yeah, we actually have a 2-column list here. The American version has, it's 1 column. just going all the way down. But yeah, the Japanese version has the 2-column list like most Final Fantasy games. So that's just interesting to note, I guess. Alright, so yeah, we'll go with this party to the boss fight here. The Marshal and 2 Lobos. See if we can get the mithril knife from him. There's no exclamation point, so I'm thinking that means the steel missed. Probably missed again. Oh. Oh. Oh, I don't know if I have a Phoenix down. So, this is an elixir, this is... well, let's find out what this is. It's probably an antidote, but... I'll try it. Oh, that is a Phoenix down. We do have lockback, for the time being, anyway. I meant to steal, I'm sorry. But, oh well. You might want to get the party mogs in. Oh, got him. One Moogle left, but we did it. Moogles, we're in your debt. So I actually forget if Locke gets restored after that battle, but, like, if he doesn't, is this like, you know, he is knocked out, gets up, drags Terra over here, talks to her, gets her outside, and then just immediately collapses again, which I never actually even really took notice of it, but I saw a video somewhere recently where somebody pointed out how silly it looks in Final Fantasy X when you have, like, a character knocked out, or even both characters, except, like, 2 characters knocked out, and then Yuna summons a monster. The 2 knocked out characters will stand up and run off screen, and then when the summoned monster goes away, if either it runs out of HP or if you unsummon it, the 2 knocked out characters run back into the scene and then immediately keel over. It just looks ridiculous. And again, I never really even noticed that. I kind of almost want to play 10 again. I know I've trashed 10 a little bit. And there's a lot about 10 I do like. Like, I mean, as silly as some of the outfits are, a lot of the other art direction really is good in that game. I do think Titus is a lousy main character. And he's not the protagonist. Yuna's the protagonist. You know, Titus could be taken out of the game, and not a whole lot else would need to be changed about it. As far as the story's concerned, at least. Yeah, I really do like the battle system in 10, and, I don't know, I kind of almost do feel like I want to play that again at some point, relatively soon. I don't know. Should I do that as a video? I don't know. It might make for some good commentary, honestly. I mean, Spoony had a field day with it when he did his videos, and that wasn't even a full, like, Let's Play or anything. I don't know. I'll think about that. I'll play it on my own, if nothing else, at some point, but yeah, would I want to do that as a video? I don't know. This one should be a monster in a box here. Oh, we can put the mithril shield on Terra. Yeah, Herald Shield can go unlock. Out of the way. I always kind of liked you could do this with that bucket if you just hold the button down. Hold the A button down in front of it. I don't think you can do that with the other healing springs, because if I remember right, I think all of the other ones actually have a message pop up that says, like, HP and MP restored. But yeah, that bucket, for whatever reason, you can hold the button down. What are the other items from here? There's a tincture, probably... yeah, that's the tincture. Yeah, I think it was just like a potion and a tonic or something, but... it all helps. Who might you be? We gotta get to South Figaro, or we gotta get to Figaro Castle on the fly. Alright, I'm gonna head out. There's a leafer. I got a potion there. Ooh, back attack with 4 enemies. Just trying to steal a couple of potions. It doesn't want to let us have any. I usually do try to get, you know, a decent number of potions here. That leafer does not want to give up his potion. Alright, one more try, and then I'm just gonna fry the whole lot of them. There we go. That's one. Alright, so we'll try to get a couple more from the other enemies then. Dark Wind doesn't want to give his potion up. Alright, there's another one. One. And there we go. Alright. Alright. Just gonna use fire. So up to 7 tonics. I keep saying potions, they're actually tonics. Well, I guess they are potions and high potions in later versions of the game, but on Super Nintendo it was tonic and then potion. getting them all on the first try. We'll just get up to like 10 of them, maybe, before we go to the castle. Nice. Yeah, we have time. Okay. Head to the castle. Nope. I think we can actually steal antidotes from these things. Nah, that was a miss. There's one. There we go. Two antidotes. We can go with that. You know, it's time to name Edgar when he gives you the finger, right? Are you surprised somebody like me knows a king? Yep. See ya. I think he actually does say see ya there. Why are you helping me? Is it because of my abilities? First, your beauty has captivated me. Second, I'm dying to know if I'm your type. And I guess your abilities would be a distant third. What's with you, anyway? I suppose a normal girl would have found him captivating. What's a captivating? Dashing? I don't know. Something like that. Anyway, yeah, we'll go to the tool store now, even though we don't have Edgar in the party. So yeah, we have the auto crossbow automatically. Get the noise blaster and the bio blaster. We'll see if we can figure out which one is which. Range. So this one should be the antidote. So we'll put that after the healing items. That should be the tincture. That's the elixir. Tincture ahead of the elixir. And yeah, that should be the sleeping bag. Don't remember what that is. So yeah, there's tonic. That should be... that's a tincture. This is where the language barrier is starting to kick in. The bottom one is the 1200 should be 10. Yeah, just skip. those. Extra tincture just in case. That's probably antidote. Yeah, we have 3 of them already, so get up to 10 of those. If I was going to try to, like, legitimately play through, you know, play through the whole thing of this version, which maybe someday I'll do, who knows, I would probably, well, I don't know, either, like, get a language course, maybe, or, you know, find a printed translation online. Oh, I think you have to talk to the matron, right? To hear about Sabin. I think that advances it. Haven't you noticed how thin Father's face has become? And again, I keep calling him Sabin, but in this version he's Mash, right? Okay, so now I think you go back to the throne room, if I remember the sequence of events. And then after that, you go find Locke in, like, the private bed chamber. And that goes to the next day when Kefka shows up. So, how do you like my castle? Hey, baby. How do you like my castle? Phooey, egg, are you, Pinhead? Why do you have to live out here in the middle of nowhere? Ahem, there's sand on my boot. Fools. There's a lot of characters for fools. I wonder if he says more than that in Japanese. Alright, so we'll put Mithril Pike on Edgar. For some reason it didn't seem like it was letting me talk to Kefka at first. Maybe you have to talk to both soldiers first, I don't remember that. A girl of no importance has escaped. I thought she might be taking refuge here. Well, it's hard to say. There's more girls here than there are grains of sand in the desert. I certainly hope nothing happens to your precious Figaro. Yeah, so now you follow Locke, and we'll put Edgar's sword on her. So that second set of characters after her name, I think that is, I mean, it probably says Magitech Elite, which is the class she's given in, like, the GBA and Pixel Remaster versions. But yeah, this version, I assume, has character classes listed on the status screen, which the American Super Nintendo version does not have. And again, that's purely cosmetic, because you can't change classes or anything in this game at all. It's just, you know, extra story, extra flavor for the story, basically. The story of each character. Edgar is, secretly collaborating with the Returners. I'm his contact with that group. What? Smoke? So I wonder what this soldier says here, because I'm guessing in Japan it was not a Beavis and Butthead reference, right? To my barbecue. Now. Touch the people with Figaro. Figure out which one is the Bio Blaster and which is the Noise Blaster. Alright, so that's the Noise Blaster, obviously. I actually worked on them, too. Kid seems loaded for bear. That was magic. That string of characters probably is the magic part, right? Is. Yeah, that was probably... Okay, yeah, that's the magic part. She can use magic. The difference between her and us is that she can use magic, right? Thank you, Locke. Thank you, Edgar. Link. swooning. We got a potion from that one. So this should be the Bio Blaster. Tech lasered himself to death. Bravo, Figaro. Son of a submariner. And yes, it's son of a submariner. Be dead in the cold, cold ground before I recognize son of a sandworm. This is the part where, I forget if it's Locke or Edgar accidentally says that Terra's not normal. I apologize. Alright, so we can go to the cave. I like to put Locke in front for this part. I don't know why. And in this game, I think I pointed this out in my full playthrough off the, the translated, the English version, but in this game, the position with it, the order of your party doesn't actually matter in this game. Like in some Final Fantasies, including the first one even, I think the character in slot 1 takes like 75%, or it takes like the majority of hits basically, and I think like the second position is like 75%, and then the last two positions are even less. In this game, the order does not matter at all. It's purely up to preference. Alright, so we'll leave the treasures. Again, probably not going to come back to them. Certainly not in this video, and again, I'm not planning to do this as a multi-part thing anyway. But, just get some auto crossbow action here. There again, the treasures in this cave, I believe, have 3 versions, depending on when you actually collect them. I think if you wait till the World of Ruin, one of them turns into a hero ring, if I remember right. I always thought this room kind of looked like a car. So we'll go to Duncan's cabin to rest up, and then South Figaro, and then Mount Colts. And again, I'm thinking we'll stop after Mount Colts. These his favorite flowers. These are his dishes. And this, his favorite tea. And I just stole a potion or something out of his, bedpan. Maybe I'm guessing that's what they're using that bucket for, right? What is this? I don't know. Sabin has been here. Mash has been here. Ooh. You know the man that lives here? There's Shadow. I think this one might be the barrel down there. I think might be an eye drop, if I remember right. Oh, the sign there says pub. That's kind of neat to see on Super Nintendo. He's in the American SNES version. They were all changed to cafe. They say pub in, like, you know, the GBA. I think in the GBA version they say pub, and definitely the Pixel remaster. But yeah, again, just kind of neat to see that on Super Nintendo. The uncensored version. This, we're not going to get far enough to see it, obviously, but this would also have, like, the uncensored sprites for Siren, the Siren Esper, and the goddess statue at the end, which were the Chatternook, the woman form of Chatternook. None of which were, you know, actual nudity, but they were a little more revealing in the original version than the US, the American SNES version. So I want to say the 1500 is the sprint shoes. We'll find out. The 500s are the Star Pendant and the goggles, I believe, and I think Star Pendant was first on the list. We'll find out. So yeah, we'll put whatever that is on each of them. I think that's the yeah, that's sprint shoes. So we figured that out. I'm gonna leave them on for now. I guess we don't need to rest because we already slept at the cabin and we didn't have any battles after that. Alright, here's Shadow's introduction. Alright, I'll stop. Don't you know who that is? That's Shadow. He'd slit his mama's throat for a nickel, which that's surprising that one got through Nintendo for the American version. I don't know what it actually says in the Japanese version, but because I think that was, I don't think that was the original line. I don't remember what the, you know, GBA translation or anything says. Yeah, I think that was one Woolsey put in and somehow, you know, didn't get censored back out. Here's the cider guy, anyway. The betrayer of the town. Which, I mean, he's outright reading out loud what he's writing. We heard it. If we just took this guy out right now, it would save a lot of problems. Just saying. The maid will probably help us. Shouldn't be that hard. At least I'm sure she won't snitch on us, right? It was just an unfortunate accident. Gotta get that clock elixir. So this should be the Regal Cutlass, which we can't afford. We don't really have anything to sell either, do we? We'll stick with the sword we have, I guess. There's a buckler. Actually, those are heavy shields. Can we sell? Do we have anything that's worth selling? Let's just sell the tincture. We don't really need it at this point. So, we'll get, actually, let's go over and get the Cutlass for Terra first. Still don't have enough. Okay, never mind. Okay, so, we'll do... one heavy shield. I feel like I always have more money at this point than I do here. So that should be the plumed hat. That should be the headband, right? Get what we can. Actually, let's see. Yeah, we'll get block the heavy shield. Alright. Nah, I'm not gonna bother going over to get the warp stone for now. Again, I keep saying for now, I'm not planning this as a series, but, you know, if I do go back to it on my own or whatever, I can go back and get the warp stone. Maybe it's just that I typically, you know, not really grind, but I do a little bit of fighting outside of town here. Maybe that's why I just usually have more money at that point to get the good equipment from this town. Yeah, we'll do Mount Colts, we'll fight Vargas, and I don't think we'll go to the Returner hideout, but we'll save on the other side of Mount Colts anyway, after we get Sabin or Mash. This is good music for adventuring, isn't it? This kind of reminds me, what was it from? Oh, I know what that line was from. The game Majesty, which was a PC game, PC Windows. Very good game. It was kind of, like, it looks a lot like Warcraft 1 and 2, but it's a little bit different because you can't actually directly control your hero characters. You have to, like, put reward flags, like explorer flags, to get them to go to different locations, and then you can use reward flags on this should be the Guardian Knife, I think. Yeah, you can put, like, reward flags on enemies to, like, coerce your characters into fighting them, but, like, if it's a tough enemy, if you don't put enough of a reward on it, characters won't be inclined to fight that enemy. It's a very fun game, like a kingdom build sim slash kind of twist on the early Warcraft formula, but, yeah, in Majesty, the characters all have, like, a couple of stock sayings that they say, like voice clips. And I think it's whenever the ranger gains a level, he says, "Wild adventure builds character." So, anyway, long story short, just, you know, talking about this being good adventuring music reminded me of that. It's always fun when, you know, you think of a reference and then you have to, like, go through a long explanation to set up why it makes you think of it. I don't know. I do that a lot, I guess. Comes with just having a mind for obscure references, I guess. So Terra actually has the antidote spell now. I don't think I noticed her gaining that. That's actually, I think, the Air Lancet, isn't it? Maybe not. Maybe it was a mithril knife. I don't know. Alright, let's figure out what our antidote is. Probably this one? Yes. The other incident, speaking of majesty, I guess that is one of the quotes I always just kind of remembered from that was "Wild adventure builds character." The other one I always remember is just the tax collector. Your kingdom has tax collectors that go around, and as your kingdom gets bigger, you have more tax collectors, and they're completely defenseless, so you have to like try to like plan a route for them to take so that they collect. Oh, found the tent. Anyway, you have to, like, plan out... Not really plan a route, but you have to, like, set them to collect only from houses and buildings that have a certain amount of gold in them, so that they're not, you know, just going around and, you know, if they get attacked and killed, then you lose all the money they're carrying. So you want to try to keep them outside. You want to keep them from being outside as much as possible. So if you set them so that they only go to a building when it has a certain amount of gold, that kind of helps protect them a little bit. But anyway, again, long explanation. But anyway, whenever the tax collector goes to a building and picks up gold, he goes and he has like this really nerdy voice they gave him. He goes, "Tax collector." Which that reminds me of another story. Me and my buddy were Northeast Wrestling. They haven't done it in since before COVID. They haven't done it in a while, and actually even a few years before COVID they stopped going there. But for a while they had an annual summer show, at Duchess Stadium in Fishkill or Wapner's Falls. Same building, but for some reason I've seen it listed in both towns. Maybe it's like right on the border or something. But anyway, it's a minor league ballpark for the Hudson Valley Renegades. But yeah, they had, for a while, they had a big show there every year, and it had like a big fan fest. You know, all kinds of people you could meet. One year they brought in Jushin Thunder Liger to this show, so I got to meet Liger. He wrestled Jeff Hardy that night too. But and I remember feeling so bad for Liger because invariably this would be on like the hottest weekend of the year, and it was under a tent, but still Liger was at the signing, and he had like the full outfit on. He had the bodysuit, the mask, the fake hair, which by that point it was fake hair attached to the mask. Then it was like 85, 90 degrees in the shade. I felt so bad for Liger, but I got to meet him, shook his hand, got an autograph. So that's very cool. Like, never thought I would get to meet him. But yeah, anyway, one year we were at that show, and it was after the Fan Fest. We were like in the stands. I don't think the show had started yet, but there was this kid going around, like, you know, selling concessions. And I don't know if he was just like trying to amuse himself or what, but he's selling snow cones. And to announce that he has snow cones for sale, he was going, "Snow cone! Snow cone!" So, for me and my buddy, that was a meme for a long time after that, the snow cone kid. Anyway, but yeah, he kind of said that in a way that was reminiscent of Tax Collector from Majesty. But yeah, if you haven't played Majesty, I think it's on, maybe it's on Steam and stuff like that too, but it's definitely from good old games, GOG, because I actually have it from there on my account, but I had the CD-ROM back in the day, and there's one expansion for it, the Northern expansion too, and I think if you get it from GOG, I think it has that expansion built in already. But yeah, it's a very good game. Check it out for sure. There is a sequel, and I've never played the sequel, so I don't know how that is. It didn't get a lot of attention. The first game didn't either, really, but I've heard even less about the sequel, so I don't know if that speaks to its quality, or maybe it is just a hidden gem. But yeah, the first Majesty with the Northern expansion, check that one out. It's a very, very good PC Windows game. And I don't know what it's going for, but I'm sure it's not expensive from GOG. So yeah, check that out. I played that a lot, and I was never a big PC gamer, so if I played it a lot, that should say something to its quality. Who put that out? I think it was that Interplay that did Majesty? I was gonna say Microprose. Maybe it was Microprose that published it, actually. I don't know. It was one of those publishers, anyway. Alright, so here's the Vargas fight with his two bears. Oof. Hit a cure here. Hit cure again. Just to be safe. Just one target. Edgar's with that mithril pike, he should be actually doing more damage than the crossbow would be. I didn't mean to defend. Actually meant to cure again. This should be Saban showing up here. Alright, so I think it wants us to do pummel here, if I remember right. Like, I think even if you use other rages, like, you should be able to do horrible at this point, but I think if you use it, it won't end the battle. So yeah, I think it forces you to use pummel. Fortunately, that will not be an issue. What? Duncan already taught you that technique? Mash. Edgar? The brothers are reunited. Little brother? I thought you were a bodybuilder who strayed from his gym, which I assume in this version she's probably saying what the joke was supposed to be, that she thought it was another one of Vargas's bears. Because in the English version she does the bodybuilder line, but then she, like afterwards she says, Sabin says, do you think a bear like me could help you? And that was supposed to be a reference to her making the bear joke, but she doesn't make that joke. So that kind of got worked a little bit in the Woolsey translation. But yeah, I assume it's the bear line in this version. And it got changed back to the bear joke in, I think, the GBA version and certainly later versions. Yeah, I think that was... I think a bear like me could help you. Alright, so we got Sabin. We'll give him a buckler, since we have an extra one. I don't think we have any extra relics to give him. Ah. I was trying to do Aurabolt there. I think I maybe leaned on... because I think he starts with Aurabolt, if I remember right. But I think I might have leaned on the L button. So once we get out of Mount Colts, we'll save and quit for now. We're at an hour 33, so that's far enough, I think, for this little experiment. Might as well heal up, right? What I should have done, in retrospect, is, oh no, I actually sold the tincture, didn't I? But we could have Terra healed up, and then we could just use a sleeping bag on her. Which is... I thought I had a sleeping bag. I think that was it. Alright, so we'll save and quit here. Yeah, this was a fun little experiment, you know, just seeing how far I could get. Probably, especially once you get to the point where you have Espers and you have to, like, track what spells you have and, you know, manage level up bonuses and stuff like that. That would probably be the point where I would check out unless I had, like, a full printed translation or something like that to work off of. So we did pretty well for not knowing the language, but I think there would have been a point where it would have gotten too much, you know, without extra help. But an hour 20 of playtime, that's still pretty good for, you know, not being able to read a word of it. So yeah, I enjoyed this, and I mainly got this just to have it, so I'll find a place to display it here. I need to get a few more floating shelves, I think, for this room. Yeah, and I'll see if I can find a box for it, too. Because, you know, the box is actually a very nice design. I really like the box, and again, you can see the front of it down here. So yeah, anyway, thanks for joining for another DanPlays, and I don't know what, but we'll play something else sometime soon. So, we'll see you. Hit like, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and have a good night.